Thanks for stopping by at the eCave. In this episode, I'll continue my efforts to restore the IBM PC 5150, and hopefully in this episode I'll finish the job, but we shall see. So if you're interested in that, step inside. Well, thanks for staying. As you probably saw in the last episode, I'll put a link to it down below if you haven't. The IBM PC now powers on with a parity check 1 message on the screen. You may wonder where that message comes from. Well, it comes from the power on self-test routine or post machine code, which is embedded into the PC's BIOS. If you've worked on any of the old personal computers from the same era, you would have quickly discovered very few of them have any self-diagnostic routines. Trying to debug these systems is difficult, as they simply either show a black screen or fill the screen with some blinking garbage characters. So it's not simple to find out what's wrong with them. When it came to the design of the IBM PC, it was heavily influenced by a previous system IBM launched in July 1981 called the System 23 or Data Master. It was a self-contained unit with a keyboard built into it and was aimed at businesses to do word processing. One of the software engineers who wrote the BIOS for the System 23 was tasked with writing the BIOS for the IBM PC. His name is David Bradley. David subsequently became famous for incorporating the 3 keyboard sequence routine to do a soft restart of the IBM PC, i.e. the Control-Alt-Delete function. He brought with him a lot of experience of writing the diagnostic code on the System 23. In the System 23, they called it Power On Diagnostics. As it was also powered by an Intel chip called the 8085, it wasn't that hard to incorporate the same power on self-test routines into the IBM PC. But more than that, the System 23, being a business machine, had parity check designed into the memory. I won't go into the design of that here, but suffice to say, it's meant to make sure that the data flowing along the buses hasn't been corrupted. The machine will simply halt if there's something wrong with it. Thus, when David joined the IBM engineers designing the IBM PC, they incorporated parity check for the memory, and he incorporated the power on self-test routines to do the testing of the memory as well, in addition to testing all the hardware which is surrounding the 8088 chip as well. This approach to doing power on diagnostics was, of course, adopted by all the clone makers and subsequently expanded to make it a lot easier to diagnose PCs going forward. Now I'll put a link below which was written by David explaining how the design choices were made that were used to design the IBM PC. The article was published in the Byte magazine in 1990 and interestingly has a photo of the first prototype of the IBM PC motherboard. I'll also put a link to a Wikipedia article on the IBM System 23 as well. Now, in our case, in order to diagnose the parity check 1 message, I will be using the IBM Maintenance Analysis Procedures, or the MAP, and show you how it takes you through a flow which should eventually, hopefully, tell us what chip to replace on the motherboard. The maps are located in this manual here, which I have a copy of. This is the Hardware Maintenance Service Manual. So I'll open up to the page and take you through the flow. But the first thing we have to do is to collect information on what happens when the IBM PC is turned on. And as you saw in the last episode, it ended up with a message saying parity check 1. However, I don't know if you noticed, there was a 4-digit space 3-digit code display before that parity check 1 error message came up. I'll show you that better from the GoPro footage, which I captured the initial power on. And armed with that information, I'll show you how we go through the map flows and end up being told possibly what chip to replace. So let's do that. First, I'll show you the footage from the power on test from the last episode, and I'll slow it down so you can see. It should be up here somewhere, and as I show it, you should see that the first message that comes along is 2001-201. So that's the information we need when we proceed through the map. So let's do that. I'm here at my desk with the Hardware Maintenance Service Manual. And let's go to the section Start, PC, XT and Portable PC. This is where we begin our flow chart. The first thing it asks for here, after having made sure that a number of things are there that need to be in place, the first thing is the power supply fan running. Yes, we know that. Listen carefully for any audio responses during the power on self-test. Did you hear one short beep at the end of the post? No, we did not hear that. So we continue in step 4. Step 4 says go to step 6. Well, we go to step 6. Did the message resume F1 key appear on the screen? No, we did not see that. Then we fall out to 007, which says go to step 52 in this map. So let's go to 52. Step 52 is coming up. Step 52. Refer to the following figure and go to the map indicated or take the action desired. So the post error symptom, we ended up with parity check message. That tells us to go to map 200, memory start. Now map 200 is a bit further along the way. These are the diagnostic maps. This is 20, so we have to find 200. That's 100. 200, memory start. You have entered this map because you were unable to complete the post. The memory size displayed was incorrect. There was a memory parity check. Okay. The condition that could cause this symptom: a memory module is failing, a memory expansion adapter is failing, the system board is failing, or the setup program options are not correctly set. Okay, it's now asking what type of PC we have. Is it the 1664 kilobyte motherboard, which was the first revision, or is it the 64-256 kilobyte? That's the one we have. So it tells us to start at the same place, map 200, memory PC, which is here. When a memory failure is detected during the post, a 201 error message preceded by a 4-character error code XXXX201 may be displayed. This error message lasts about 1 second before being replaced by a parity check message. Now we had the parity check message, but it was preceded by this message, 2001 201. Did a 201 error occur during the post? Yes, go to step 11 in this map. So let's go to step 11. 11 from step 03 and 10 is a 16-64 kilobyte motherboard installed? No, we have to go to step 21. And step 21 asks, is the first character of the error code 0, 1, 2, or 3? Yes, we have 2. Well, we have 2 as you see here. Find the failing bank and module in figure 3. The failing bank is identified by the first character of the error code, which is 2. And the failing module is identified by the last 2 characters of the error code, or 1. That tells me that when you look at the motherboard here, bank 2 is the second from the bottom, and the failing module is in row 01. That would indicate this module here. So let's pull that chip out. This is one of the 4164 65 kilobit DRAM. Let's pull it out and test it. I've got the tester. Well, I'm back at the test bench where we have the motherboard located. I'll take out the MDA adapter first, so it's not in our way. Put that aside. I've got the page here, and as you can see, our failing module is supposed to be this one here. Bank 2, row 1. Bank 2, row 1 points to this one here, and also says bank 2 here. So let's take that one out. Thankfully, they're all socketed, so don't have to desolder it. It's out. Now we need to test it. Well, I'm back at my workbench and I've got the Retro Tester Pro ready to test this chip. This is a MOSTEC MK4564N-20. So we have a library to test that here. Let's put it in. And these chips were called 4164, so we need to find that. Went past it. So we have to get the DRAMs, and 4164 is there. It's not a 2104 or 7, 21, 44, 16, 4164, 64K times 1 bit. And let's test it. Well, it's not happy. Let's reseat it and put it back in, see if that changes anything. No, doesn't like it. Thankfully, I do have a replacement. But let's test the replacement. That is a, I can barely see this, NSK 4164 ANP. So let's put that one in and test it. That looks a bit better. Hopefully that one is gonna come out good and we can put it in the motherboard and see what happens then during power on. It does a fair bit of testing. It ripples through all the bit positions and validates that what it writes it can read back. And if it passes all those tests, the tester will be happy. It's now doing a random write and read. Yeah, it takes a while to test these chips. So if you have lots of them, be patient. Yep, test passed. So let's take that one and put it in the motherboard and see what happens. Well, I'm back at my test bench. I put the new chip in and I put the graphics adapter in. And the only thing left is to power on and hope for the best. Interesting. I'm getting the graphics card error, a long beep and too short. But does anything come on the monitor? That's the main thing. We see a blinking cursor and a 601 error. What's going to happen next? We see the basic prompt. Ooh, the monitor is not happy. I better turn it off. Well, there's something still wrong with the MDA adapter. The diagnostic routine is complaining about it, but it happily uses it. And maybe that was the MDA adapter giving up the ghost for the last time. Anyway, it passed all the memory test routines. And the only error we are getting is 601, which tells me it's looking for the floppy disk controller. So we progressed a bit, but I'm concerned about this MDA adapter, just wondering if something's happened to that. I'll power it up again and see if it does any better. But first I'll reseat the adapter here. Just in case it wasn't properly in there. Nah, something's still wrong with it. But does it drive the display? Yes. Interesting. Now I have to diagnose the MDA adapter. That doesn't help, does it? Yep, it comes up again. And it drops out to the cassette basic. Well, we know the motherboard seems to be fine, which is a good thing. The next thing is to find out why the MDA adapter is not working. To do that, the best thing to do is to get the diskette drives functional and run the advanced diagnostics. So that's what we'll do. I'll only need one of them. So I'll take one apart and clean it up a bit, and we'll put in the disk controller and one of the floppies and see what happens then. Well, I'm here at my desk ready with the floppy drive. I've taken the floppy drive B on the off chance that it's more likely to work, but we shall see. The main things to do are to clean the belt. The belt is here. It's a bit dirty, so I'll take it off. Put a bit of isopropyl alcohol into a cloth and we'll run it through. Give it a bit of a clean. Oh, it's got a touchy bit there. I'm amazed this belt is still functional, hasn't broken. Seems to have something here. I might have to try to get that off. Let me see if I can use a cotton bud to do this. Use the drive itself. I think it's coming off. Yep. Wow. You can see the cotton bud is a bit black. Okay, let's run it through again. Yeah, I can't feel anything now. So the belt is good, but it would be prudent to clean the surfaces of the flywheel as well. Yeah, and we need to do the pulley on the motor. Okay, put the belt on. So we'll turn it over. It will probably need a bit of cleaning on the top. It would be good if I could blow some air on it. Anyway, I've got to get to the heads to clean them. And the way to do that is you have to take off these two connectors which connect the heads, the two heads. You have to take these two screws, 1, 2, then you push the PCB backwards until it fits out of the recesses and you can fold it over, and then you have access to the heads to clean the heads. I'll get a new cotton bud. I don't have any flat ones, but it's not that hard to make these flat. Gently lift it up. I can't see a lot of dirt on this. Let's see if I can do the upper one. You have to be very careful with this. Okay. Next is the heads, or the motor that drives the head. They're often very stiff, so it might be prudent to try to clean the rods or the sliding rods and put some new grease on them. dropped my bud off into there. Oh, there it is. Let's get that out. This is just to take most of the dust away off these rods. And then we need to put some grease. So let's put some grease. Just a bit of lithium grease. Which is hopefully enough to get it functional again. Well, that looks okay. I'll just check the hub, see if it spins. Yep. And there is, of course, a sensor that senses the hole in the diskette. This one here. It might be prudent to clean that as well. Yep. Easy. Let's put this all back together again and see what happens. The PCB back in here. Slide it a bit forward until it matches the holes. Then it's just a matter of putting the screws in. And then we'll hook it up to the controller on the PC and fire it up. And we'll ignore this error code for the MDA for the time being until it gives up completely. I hope not. There's definitely something wrong with it, and I guess I'd have to find out by using the advanced diagnostics, because it goes through all the different tests. These are a pain to put back on, but they're back on. Now this one's done. Yeah, I'll do the other one as well. So I'll grab the other one and do that. And I won't show you, it's same process. And when I'm done, I'll hook them up and we'll see what happens. I'm back again. I've now attached the floppy drives to the controller card. And I've got the GoPro camera on the monitor. Now I do expect to get the beep from the MDA controller. But let's power on and see what happens. Yeah. I've got a floppy in here, which is a copy of the IBM Advanced Diagnostic diskette. Well, there's nothing left to do but power on. Oops. There's something wrong. Something's overloading the power supply. Normally what happens in those scenarios, it's one of these capacitors which develops a fault and becomes a short. Let me try it again. Okay, now we know that something here is causing it. The most likely culprits would be the capacitors on the disk controller or on the drives. Let me disconnect one of the drives and see if anything happens. I'll take this one, the B drive. disconnect. These connectors are not the easiest one to disconnect. Okay, I'll take that away and we'll see what happens now. Whoops. Still not happy. I'll take this drive away as well. I hope they're not both cactus. I'll take that away and we'll try again. All right. We do have something short on both of them. That's unusual, both of them giving an error. I'll have to take them to the workbench and measure across the power input to see if they're shorted. All right, let's do that. I'm back at the workbench with the 2 diskette drives. I'm going to measure the continuity between the plus 5 volts and the plus 12 volts and ground, because I'm pretty sure they're shorted. So let's do that. The 2 center pins are ground, so we can put that here. And the plus 5 volts are on the right side. And we have resistance, which is good. What about the other one? Oh, now we know why the power supply shuts down, at least with this one. This is the A drive. Let's try the B drive. As well, here it comes. Ground and 5 volt. Yep, resistance, ground and 12 volts. Yeah, it's 32 ohms, but I don't think that's supposed to be. That's one cacti as well. If I look at them, I can see a capacitor here on this one. Doesn't look very healthy. Yep, that's shorted. That's shorted. Time to replace those. I'm stopping this episode here because I think it's getting too long, so I'll have to do the 3rd one. It looks like this restoration of this IBM PC is turning into a TV series, this being season 1. It's almost like Home and Away, where somebody dies in every episode. Here in the 1st episode, we rescued a couple of reefers before they blew up and died. And in this 2nd episode, there are 2 capacitors, one in each diskette drive, which actually are dead. So we're solving murdery cases every episode, just like Home and Away. Anyway, I'll continue with replacing the capacitors off screen. I'll also begin cleaning the chassis and the case. And when I'm ready with the repaired diskette drives, we'll continue on with episode 3. So thanks for staying at the eCave.